This is an example of one of our market simulators. It's based upon some hypothetical data, and it deals with a market that's oversimplified. Most client markets are way more complicated than this. This happens to be a set of shoes, and these shoes have three different characteristics. There is two levels of fashion, traditional and modern. There are two levels of quality, high and standard. And then price can range through a certain range that goes up to $149. So the idea is that we can actually put together a competitive marketplace that's got, in this case, three different shoes, all of which have different characteristics and different prices. So what our simulator does is to calculate the potential market share each one of these would get, and also calculates the percentage of people who might shop who decide not to buy any at all. Now, the nice thing about this is that you can go in here and you can make changes. So for example, we could take a snapshot of this starting simulation and then make a change. Let's say we drop the price of this high-end product from $99 to $49. And what we see is that three things happen. First of all, it gets share from the stylish shoe and the basic shoe. And it also brings people into the market who decided not to purchase before. So it gives you a sense to see the market dynamics. Another thing that you can do is to look at various demographic groups. Here we've got people of different ages, people of different genders. We can, again, take a snapshot just as we did before. And let's look only at young women. So we're going to look only at females, and we're going to look only at people who are under 25. And what we see is that most of them prefer the stylish shoe. It's not terribly surprising. And you get very few people who are interested in shoes that have traditional fashion and are high in quality, and you get slightly less interest in the basic shoe. So that gives you a sense of how you can use this to start targeting your markets. Another thing that you can do is by focusing on this year prod that's on the left here, we can go to our price curve sheet and generate price curves. What this does is it solves the model for that left-hand product over a range of prices. And what you see is that when you look at the amount of revenues that are generated, there's one price that generates a maximum revenue. This happens to be $75 for the shoe. So that says that in this marketplace, we could go back here and price this shoe, our product shoe here, at $75, and that's going to give you the maximum market share in this marketplace. So that's another thing that you can do with this. Let's go reset everything, and then we'll show you a couple more things here. One thing that's pretty neat is that you can also calculate how much people are willing to pay for each one of these attributes. So we've got, for example, again, modern fashion, traditional fashion, high quality, standard quality. By clicking on this build charts button, we go through a number of iterations, and what we see here is the amount that people are willing to pay, in this case, for a modern shoe. So they're willing to pay about, on average, about $100 to have a modern shoe versus a traditional shoe. And they're willing to pay on average a little less than $100 for a high quality shoe versus a standard shoe. But this can vary by market segment. So you can actually go through and use this to do all kinds of different scenarios. You can save the scenarios themselves. You make different assumptions. You can see just what a powerful tool this is to people who are trying to design a shoe that wins in this competitive marketplace.